Good afternoon, children. How are you all? I hope you all are fine. So today we will move to the next chapter, chapter 5, Kingdoms, Kings and an Early Republic. Right. I hope you are all writing the question and answers. Exercise question answers only you should write in your notebook. Don't write the notes. It is available in your textbook. You can read it. Read thoroughly the textbook, because I already told you textbook is the mother of 100 books. Read the textbooks, read the glossary. If you don't get the meaning of any word in the textbook, please refer the dictionary. See in the dictionary, you will get the meanings of the words. Right. Let us move now. How some men became rulers. Choosing leaders or rulers by voting is something that has become common during the last 50 years or so. How did men become rulers in the past? So according to this chapter, it is telling that how the men used to become the rulers in those areas, how they used to become the kings in the past. Let us see. Some of the Rajas we read about in chapter 4 were probably chosen by the Jana. Jana means the people. But around 3000 years ago, we find some changes taking place in the ways in which Rajas were chosen. Some men now became recognized as Rajas by performing very big sacrifices. So because of doing very big sacrifices, they were considered as the kings. The Ashwamedha or horse sacrifice was one such ritual. A horse was let loose to wander freely, and it was guarded by the Raja's men. So you have seen this one, Lav Kush. In Ramayana, they will tie that horse, and that Rama has to come in order to free that horse. That you have seen in the Ramayana. Same type here, the Ashwamedha Yagna they used to do, the kings used to do, and they used to tie a horse, was left free, and the horse was made to wander into the kingdoms of the other Rajas, and if they stopped it, they had to fight with the king who had done the Ashwamedha Yagna. And if they don't fight, if they allow the horse to pass, then they have to pay what? They have to pay the gifts. They have to pay the gifts to the Raja who had made the Ashwamedha Yagna. Right, it meant that they had expected that the Raja who wanted to perform the sacrifice was stronger than them. So they were accepting his, what you can say, leadership. They were thinking that he is more stronger than us. These Rajas were then invited to sacrifice, and which was performed by specially trained priests who were rewarded with the gifts. So he was calling them for the yagna, means the sacrifice. There the priest used to give them awards, the puja used to be performed, and the king used to give the gifts to the Rajas who had come there. The Raja who organized the sacrifice recognized as a being very powerful, and those who came brought gifts for him. So what happened here? The Raja, the king who is making the Ashwamedha Yagna, was to be treated as the most powerful king. As in the days of Ramayana, they had accepted that Rama is our king, Rama is our lord, because everyone had freed the horse. The horse was free to move when he had performed the Ashwamedha Yagna. But what happened? This Lav and Kush had tied that horse, right? So you can see in the movie that the Lakshmana comes, the Bharata Shatrughna comes, they are all getting defeated by whom? By the Lav Kush. And Hanuman comes, and he also get defeated by the Lav and Kush. And that time, at last, the Sri Rama comes and he defeats the two small children. So this you had seen. So same thing here it was happening. So the kings used to consider that Raja, that king has the most powerful man who has performed the Ashwamedha Yagna. And they used to give him the gifts and rewards for him. The Raja was a central figure in these rituals. What was happening here? The Raja was considered as a ritual. See, he often had a special seat, a throne or a tiger skin. So he was given a special throne, he was given a special seat, and that seat was characterized, the throne was how it was made up of the tiger skin. His charioteer, who was the companion in the battlefield and witnessed his exploit, chanted the tales of his glory. So chariot. So what the charioteer means, he is Sarathi. ರೈಟ್ ಚಾರಿಯಟ್ ರಥ ಓಡಿಸ್ತಾರಲ್ರಿ ಅದ್ರ ಮುಂದೆ ಕೂತಿರ್ತಾನಲ್ಲ ಅವನಿಗೇನಂತೀರಿ ಸಾರಥಿ. ಫಾರ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಮಹಾಭಾರತ ಅರ್ಜುನಗೆ ಸಾರಥಿ ಯಾರಿಗಿದ್ರಿ ಶ್ರೀಕೃಷ್ಣ. ಲೈಕ್ ದಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಟಲ್ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಹೂ ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಸೀನ್ right the powerfulness of the king, the tales of his glory was told by whom? By the charioteer. His relatively, especially his wives and sons, had to perform a variety of minor rituals. So minor customs and traditions, whatever is there, his wife and relatives had to perform it, and also his sons. The other rajas were simply spectators who had to sit and watch the performance of the sacrifice. So other rituals, other what you can say, other rajas who had come there, they have to sit and they have to just watch the performance of the sacrifices, what they are doing. Right, priests performed the rituals including the sprinkling of sacred water on the king. Sacred water means the river Ganga water they used to put on the king. The ordinary people, the wish on the king. Right, they used to put it on the ordinary people, the wish or the Vaishya also brought gifts. The ordinary people used to also bring the gifts for whom? For the king. However, some people such as those who were regarded as Shudras by priests were excluded from many rituals. So the whom the priests used to consider them as Shudras. Shudras means the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. They were not allowed to visit the rituals, visit all these traditions, all these pujas. They were not allowed to come and see. Other castes were allowed and they were allowed to come and watch the pujas. Varanas, we have many books that were composed in North India, especially in the areas drained by the Ganga and the Yamuna. During this period, these books were often called as the later Vedic because they were composed after the Rig Veda. So after the Rig Veda, these books were composed, right? So they were called as the later Vedic. These included the Sama Veda, Yajura Veda, Atharna Veda. Already you have seen in the chapter 4, there are 4 Vedas. Rig Veda is the old Veda, and after that what were composed? Sama Veda, Yajura Veda and Atharna Veda. As well as other books were also composed by the priests and described how rituals were to be performed, how they have to perform the rituals, how they have to do the pujas, how they have to do the customs, how they have to do the whatever the pujas are there, how they have to perform. It was decided. They also contained rules about the society. So how the rules in the society, how the people should live, what are the rules and regulations they have to follow, how are the king's orders, how they have to follow in the society, those things. There were several different groups in society at this time: priests and warriors, farmers, herders, traders, craftspersons, laborers, fishing folk and forest people. So there were several other different groups in the society at that time. There were priests, there were warriors, there were farmers, there were herders, there were traders, there were craft persons, there were laborers, there were fishing folk and there were forest people were also there. Some priests and warriors, they were rich, and as well as some farmers and the traders, they were poor. Others, including many herders, craft persons, laborers, fishing folks and hunters and gatherers, were poor. So this was what you can say, these are the occupations, these are the persons who are poor compared to the priests and the warriors. Priests and warriors were very rich, they were of the rich community, whereas the persons from the laborers, fishing folk and hunters and gatherers, they were the persons, laborers, these were all poor people. The priest divided people into 4 groups or the varnas, right? According to them, each varna had a different set of functions. So there were 4 castes, or people were divided into 4 groups or the varnas. The first varna was that of the Brahmins. Brahmins were expected to study the Vedas, perform sacrifices and receive the gifts. In the second place were the rurals, also known as the Kshatriyas. They were expected to fight battles and protect the people. Third were the Vish or the Vaishyas. They were expected to be farmers, herders and the traders. Both the Kshatriyas and Vaishyas could perform the sacrifices. So yagnas, whatever is there, which the Brahmins, priests were telling, they should be performed by whom? By the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas. Last were the Shudras, who had to serve the other three groups and could not perform any rituals. They were not allowed to perform any rituals, any religions, any what you can say puja and all, but they have to serve the Shudras. Often women were grouped with the Shudras. Both women and Shudras were not allowed to study the Vedas. So in the olden days, women were not educated because they were not allowed to study the Vedas. The priests also said that these groups were decided on the basis of the birth. See, when you are born, that in which group you should be, that is decided by the God itself. For example, if one's father and mother were Brahmins, one could automatically become a Brahmin and so on. If the parents are Brahmin, then automatically what will happen? The son or the daughter for them will become a Brahmin. And so on. Later they classified some people as untouchables. They told that some people are untouchables. These include some craft persons, hunters and gatherers, as well as people who helped perform burials and cremations. Cremations andre henana sudoru, henana kayoru, avrigu kuda enandru, they are all called as untouchables. The priest said that the contact with these groups was polluting. So you should not maintain contact with them. If you come in contact with them, what will happen? You will get polluted. Many people did not accept the system of Varna laid down by the Brahmins. Some kings thought that they were superior to the priests. Here the kings told that they were not agreeing according to the Varna system, because they told to the priest that we are more superior than you. Others belonged to, besides, some people felt that there should be no differences amongst people based on occupation. So some people thought that people should not be differentiated based on the occupations. Based on the birth, they should not be differentiated. Others felt that everybody should be able to perform rituals. So some felt that everyone has the right to worship the God, because our original mother and father is who? It is the God. So we are all born to the God. So we have the right to perform the rituals to the God. And others condemned the practice of untouchability. So many people said that the practice of untouchability is not good. It should not be followed. Also, there were many areas in the subcontinent, such as the northeast, where social and economic differences were not very sharp, and where the influence of the priests was limited. So what happened in the northeast? There were no any social or economic differences, was not so much, and the influence of the priest was also very limited. So here you can see painted grey ware, plates and bowls are the most common vessels made out of painted grey ware. These are extremely fine to touch with a nice smooth surface. Perhaps these were used on special occasions for important people and to serve special food. Here you can see the vessels. It is painted grey ware, and you can see the plates and bowls. This is made here only it was given for whom? It was given only for the special people on special occasions. The food was served in these utensils. Janapadas. Let us see. The Rajas who performed these big sacrifices were now recognized as being the Rajas of Janapadas. So let us see the who are making big sacrifices, who were doing this big sacrifices. Those Rajas were being called by the Janapadas rather than Jans. Janas. The word Janapada literally means the land where Jana set its foot and settled down. So the word Janapada means here literally its meaning is Jana means the people where they set a foot and foot means kalu and settle down. Ellavu idru that place they are called as the Janapadas. Archaeologists have excavated a number of settlements in these Janapadas, such as Purana Killa in Delhi, Hastinapura near Meerut, and Ataranjikhera near Itaha. The last two are in the Uttar Pradesh. They have found that people lived in huts and kept cattle as well as other animals. So what happened in these places? The people were living in the huts and they had kept cattle also with them. They also grew a large variety of crops: rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugarcane, sesame and mustard. So you can see the archaeologists have discovered that these people who were Janapadas means where the people had put their foot on the land that became their land. They had settled down there and they were growing lot of food grains in that area. They were growing the pulses. They lived in the huts. Along with them they were making the cattle also live with them, and also there were other animals living with them, right? They made earthen pots, and some of these were grey in color. So what they had done here, they had made the earthen pots. What was the color? Color was grey, mud color, because earthen pots means what? In the earth what is found? The soil is found, mud is found. From that mud they were making the pots. So what was the pots color? The pots color was grey in color. Others were red because they might be made up from the red soil, so the others were red. One special type of pottery found at these sites is known as painted grey ware. So what happened? One special type of pottery found at these sites is known as the painted grey ware. As is obvious from the name, these grey pots had painted designs, usually simple lines and geometric patterns. So what had happened here? These special pots, one was from the grey in color and others were red, and these pots were having the painted grey wares, means painted in the grey color. As these obvious from the name, these grey pots had painted designs. They were having the painted design. And how was the design? Simple lines and geometric patterns. Geometric patterns means circle, square, rectangle, semicircle. All these patterns, geometric patterns were available on that grey pots. Let us see now Mahajanapadas. About 2500 years ago, some Janapadas thus became more important than others and were known as Mahajanapadas. Some of these are shown on map 4. You have seen here map 4. Some of Mahajanapadas and the cities are there here. Most Mahajanapadas had a capital city. Many of these were fortified. Fortified ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಕೋಟೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು. ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಸಿಟಿ ಕೂಡ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಹೇಗೆ how Karnataka has a capital city called Bangalore. In those times these Mahajanapadas were also having the capital cities and it was fortified. Fortified ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಲೋ ಕೋಟೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು. ಯಾರು ಎನಿಮೀಸ್ ದಾಳಿ ಮಾಡಲಾರ್ದಂಗ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಅಟ್ಯಾಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಾರ್ದಂಗ ಚಲೋ ಕೋಟೆಗಳನ್ನ ಅವರು ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು. This means that huge walls of wood, brick or stone were built around them. I already told you, ಕೋಟೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು. It may be made up of wood, bricks or stone were built around them so that the enemies could attack them. Here you can see the walls. Wow, so nice picture it is here. The fortification wall at Kausambhi. This is a picture of remains of a wall made of a brick found near present day Allahabad, Uttar Pradesh. A part of it was probably built about 2500 years ago. Can you see here? Can you just imagine 2500 years ago this wall was built? See the structure of the wall, so nice as it is. It is just, if you look at this picture, you feel that today only it is built. So nice the picture is, and you can see the quality of the brick, so good quality. After having so much of harsh weather conditions of 2005 years ago, that thing has happened to that wall. It is as stable as now. That in those days how it was, it is the same now also. Forts were probably built because people were afraid of attacks from other kings and needed protection. I told you, attacks from the enemies, attacks from the enemy kings, neighboring kingdoms. In order to protect themselves, they had built these walls. It is also likely that some rulers wanted to show how rich and powerful they were by building really large, tall and impressive walls around their cities. Yes, somehow the show of nature, so they want to show how rich they were. Right, for the neighboring kingdoms, how rich they are, so they have had built big buildings, impressive walls. Nowadays you are doing you all go for interior decoration of your home. Why you want to do interior decoration? You want to show the people how rich we are, how beautiful our house is. Same thing, they had large, really large, tall and impressive walls were there around the cities. Also in this way, the land and the people living inside the fortified area could be controlled more easily by the king. Yes, when you are living in a fortified area, the king can easily also control the people inside the area. Building such huge walls required a great deal of planning. Thousands, if not lakhs of bricks or stones had to be prepared. Yes, in those days they have built those big walls. Thousands, not in thousands, lakhs of bricks were required, stones were required, and they had prepared these walls. This is in turn meant enormous labor provided, possibly by thousands of men, women and children, and resources had to be found for all these. So there were thousands of men and women who were involved in building in the such a, what you can say, big enormous buildings, huge buildings, right? The new Rajas now began maintaining armies. Soldiers were paid regular salaries and maintained by the king throughout the year. So the new kings, what they started beginning and maintaining huge armies. They paid them regular salaries and they maintained the security for the king throughout the years. Some payments were probably made using punch marked coins. So they were making the payments by using the coins. Taxes, as the rulers of the Mahajanapadas were building huge forts, maintaining big armies, they needed more resources. Yes, it is very common when you have the huge buildings, when you are maintaining the big armies, what you need? You need the more resources, and they needed officials to collect these. Yes, they need the officials to collect what? To collect the taxes. So instead of depending on occasional gifts brought by people, as in case of Raja of the Janapadas, they started collecting regular taxes. Now came the taxes. They started collecting regular taxes. Occasional gifts they cannot wait for. So in order to have day-to-day administration expenditure, what they need? They need the taxes. Taxes on crops were the most important. This was because most people were farmers. Usually the tax was fixed at 1/6 of what was produced. So what was the tax rate? Tax rate was 1/6 of the whatever they were producing, that 1/6 only they have to pay it to the bhaga, 1/6 of the share they have to give to whom? To the king. There were taxes on craft persons as well. These could have been in the form of labor. For example, a weaver or smith may have to work for a day every month for the king. So the craft persons, they have to weaver, smith, and all the crafts related persons, they had to work for one day in a month for the king. Herders were also expected to pay taxes in the form of animals and animals produce. So how they were paying the taxes? They used to give the animals to the kings, and the animals produce milk, ghee, butter to the kings. There were also taxes on goods that were bought and sold to trade. So there were also taxes on the goods and services what the traders were buying and selling of goods and services. They have to pay the taxes. And hunters and gatherers also had to provide forest produce to the Raja. Here you can see the hunters are also had to produce what they had to give the whatever the forest produce is there, some part they have to give it to the king Raja. So now what is that? Changes in agriculture. What are the changes? So next is the changes in agriculture. There were two major changes in agriculture around this time. One was the growing use of iron plow shares. So what they were using? They were using the iron plow shares. ಈಗ ಹೆಂಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೊಲಕ್ಕೆ ಉಳಾಕೆ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, iron plows that was used. This meant that heavy clayey soil could be turned over better than with the wooden plow share, so that more grain could be produced. So what they were making? They were turning the hard soil to a soft soil, so that the more food grains can be produced in that soil. Second, people began transplanting paddy. This meant that instead of scattering the seed on the ground from which the plants would spurt, saplings were grown and then planted in the fields. Instead of putting the seeds in the soil, what they started growing the saplings in the soil, and that can be grown into a big plant. This led to increased production as many and more plants survived. Yes, instead of putting the seeds only, if you put 50 seeds in that, 40 seeds can come up, 10 seeds will go waste. So what they started making the saplings. ಸಣ್ಣ ಸಸಿಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಆ ಸಸಿಗಳನ್ನ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರಿ, ಹೊಲದಾಗ ಉಳಾಕತ್ರು, ಹಾಕಾಕತ್ರು, ನೆಡಾಕತ್ರು. ದೆನ್ ದೇ ಸಾ ದಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫುಡ್ ಗ್ರೇನ್ಸ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್. However, it was back-breaking work. Generally, slave men, women, dasa and dasis, and landless agricultural laborers, karas had to do these works. So these were the people who were doing the work in the field, in the farmer. They were helping the farmers. There were men and women. There were landless agricultural laborers, dasa and dasis, and also agricultural laborers, karas. They were working in the field. A closer look. Magadha. Find Magadha on map 4. Magadha became the most important Mahajanapada in about 200 years. So Magadha became an important city. Now in Karnataka, how Bangalore is an important city, in those days in India, Magadha became an important city in about 200 years ago. Many rivers such as the Ganga and Sun flowed through Magadha. This was important for transport, water supplies, making the land fertile. So for these three purposes, the place Magadha was important. It had very good transport, first point. Second one, water supplies was good, and making the land fertile technique was used in Magadha. So because of these three reasons, Magadha became an important city. Here, elephants which lived in the forest could be captured and trained for the army. Here what parts of the Magadha were forested. What they did, from the forest they brought the elephants which lived in the forest. They captured it and trained for the army. Forest also provided wood for building houses. Forest were also provided them the woods required for building the houses, carts and the chariots. Chariots andre ratha, carts andre enri chakdi ಗಾಡಿಗಳು, ಎತ್ತಿನ ಗಾಡಿಗಳು. Besides, there were iron ore mines in the region that could be tapped to make strong tools and weapons. Besides that, they were using what? The iron tools and weapons in order to make what? In order to make the tools, strong weapons, ಕತ್ತಿ, ಕೊಡ್ಲಿ, ಕಡಗ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. Magadha had two very powerful rulers, Bimbisara and Ajatasattu, who used all possible means to conquer other Janapadas. So here the Magadha had very powerful rulers. One was Bimbisara and another one was the Ajatasattu, who both were the very what we can say powerful rulers who had conquered other Janapadas. Padmananda was another important ruler. He extended his control up to the northwest part of the subcontinent. Rajagirha, present day Rajgir in Bihar, was the capital of the Magadha for several years. So here another important ruler of the Magadha was the Mahapadmananda, right? He also took his control up to northwest subcontinent, and Rajagirha, today's Bihar, was the capital of the Magadha people, for several years. Later the capital was shifted to Pataliputra, present day Patna. Later the capital was shifted to where? It was shifted to the Pataliputra. Present day it is Patna. More than 2000 years ago, a ruler named Alexander, who lived in Macedonia in Europe, wanted to become a world conqueror. Of course, he didn't conquer the world, but did conquer parts of Egypt and West Asia. You already know the story of Alexander, right? So Alexander, 2300 years ago, he was the ruler of Macedonia in Europe. He wanted to become a world conqueror. It was his dream. For that sake, he had conquered the Egypt and West Asia, and later where he came to the India, right? India, and he wanted to conquer the parts of Egypt and West Asia, so he came to the Indian subcontinent. And when he wanted to march further eastwards, his soldiers refused. They were sacred, as they had heard that rulers of India had vast armies of foot soldiers, chariots and elephants. So here the soldiers refused of Alexander to come to India because they were scared. They were afraid that it was heard that Indian rulers had vast armies of foot soldiers, chariots were there and elephants were there. A closer look of Vajji. While Magadha became a powerful kingdom, Vajji, with its capital at Vaishali, Bihar, was under a different form of government known as Gana or Sangha. So there was a different form of government. It was known as the Gana or the Sangha. In a Gana or a Sangha, there were not one but many rulers were there. In Gana, there were not only one ruler, but what happened? There were many rulers were there. Sometimes even when thousands of men ruled together, each one was known as a Raja. So when there were so many thousands of men were ruling together, that time each one was known as what? Raja only. These Rajas performed rituals together. How they were doing? They were performing all the puja rituals, all the customs, traditions together they were performing. They also met in assemblies. Yes, they were all meeting in assemblies. And what they were doing? They decided what had to be done. How? Through discussion and debate. Means through discussion and debate, all these thousands men together, they used to sit and they used to discuss what things has to be done. For example, if they were attacked by any enemy, then what should we do? They met to discuss what should be done to meet the threat. If there is any threat from the enemy king, how should we defend it? However, women, Dasa and Kamakaras could not participate in these assemblies. So these were all prohibited to participate in the assemblies. The farmers, women, Dasa, servants were not allowed to participate in the assemblies. Both the Buddha and Mahavira, about whom we will read in chapter 6, belonged to the Ganas or Sanghas. So both these kings, Buddha and Mahavira, they had belonged to this Ganas or the Sanghas. Some of the most vivid descriptions of life in the Sanghas can be found in the Buddhist books. So how they were and all, it is found where in the Buddhist books. So let us see here. This is an account of Vajjis from the Digha Nikaya, a famous Buddhist book which contains some of the speeches of Buddha. These were written down about 2300 years ago. So there is one book called the Buddhist book, famous Buddhist book, Digha Nikaya. In this, what is there? There are the speeches of Buddha, preachings of Buddha is there in this book. Ajatasattu and the Vajjis. Ajatasattu wanted to attack the Vajjis. He sent his minister named Vasakara to the Buddha to get his advice on the matter. So Ajatasattu wanted to attack the Vajjis. He sent his minister Vasakara to the Buddha to get his advice on the matter, whether I have to attack the Vajjis or not. The Buddha asked whether the Vajjis met frequently in full assemblies. When he heard that they did, he replied that the Vajjis would continue to prosper as long as they held full and frequent public assemblies. He said that whenever they are holding full and frequent assemblies, public assemblies, then there will be no problem for them. They will prosper. They met and acted together. When they meet and act together, that time there will be no problems, because unity is strength. When you are divided, you are defeated. They respected, supported and listened to elders. Until you do it, children, you don't respect your mother, you don't respect your father, but according to the Buddha, what he says, you have to respect, you have to support and you have to listen to your elders. Vajji women were not held by force or captured. You should not capture the woman, you should not hold her, you should not keep her by your force. Chattiyas local shrines were maintained in both towns and villages. There were Chattiyas who were there both in the towns and villages. Wise saints who followed different beliefs were respected and allowed to enter and leave the country freely. Here wise saints, whether they are from the enemy kingdom or from any other kingdoms, were allowed. Their entrance and their exit was free. Their movement was free all over the India. Rajas of powerful kingdoms tried to conquer the Sanghas. Nevertheless, these lasted for a very long time. So these lasted for a very long time, till about 1500 years ago, when the last of the Ganhas or Sanghas were conquered by the Gupta rulers. Who were conquering them? So the Sanghas were conquered by whom? By the Gupta rulers, about whom you will read in the chapter 10. Okay, this is the end of the chapter. Children, if you have any doubts, you can come to me, you can clear your doubts and you can bring your books for corrections, and please write solve the exercise question answers, read the true and false, fill in the blanks, whatever is there, you write it down. Right? If you have any doubts regarding this chapter, you can come and meet me and clear your doubts, and whatever the notes you have written, you can bring it to the school and get it corrected. Right? And you have to write the question and answers point wise. Don't write in paragraphs. You have to write the question and answers in point wise. First point, second point, third point, fourth point, like that. You have to write all the question answers point wise. Right? If you don't find any answers, if you go NCERT solutions class 6th history, if you write the chapter name right, you will get all the solutions to the answers. You can find the answers in the net. They are available. NCERT solutions for class 6th history chapter name, if you type, you will get all the answers. And what are the answers? Usually are in the paragraphs, but what you have to do, you have to divide it. You have to write it in the point wise. After one full point, you have to make one points, and you have to write the answers point wise. Do you understand? If you have any doubts, something, if you want to ask, you can call me. Otherwise, you can come to school, meet me, and you have to continuously start writing, solving the exercise question and answers. Do you understand, children? Okay, thank you.